Once upon a time there was a boy named Jack who lived with his mother in a small cozy cottage. Jack was kind and full of imagination, always dreaming as he watched the clouds. But Jack and his mother were poor and sometimes their cupboards were empty. Their best friend was Daisy, their gentle cow with big soft eyes. Daisy gave them fresh milk every day, which Jack's mother turned into butter and cheese to sell at the market. The money helped them buy bread and jam. Daisy was more than a cow, she was family. But one day, Daisy stopped giving milk. Without milk they had nothing to sell and no money for food. With tears in her eyes, Jack's mother said he must take Daisy to the market and sell her. Jack's heart was heavy, but he knew they needed food, so Jack gave Daisy a last hug and began the long, sad walk to the market. On the way to the market, Jack was walking very slowly. His feet felt heavy, and so did his heart. He was thinking about all the fun times he had with Daisy. Suddenly a man appeared on the road. He was a funny-looking man with a long coat and a twinkle in his eye. He looked at Jack and he looked at Daisy, and then he smiled a big, mysterious smile. "Hello there, young man," he said in a booming voice. "Where are you going with such a fine cow on this fine day?" Jack felt a little nervous, but he answered politely. Jack explained that he had to sell his best friend Daisy because he and his mother were very poor and had no food. The man listened carefully, nodding his head. Then he reached into his deep pocket and pulled out his hand. In his palm were 5 small beans. But these weren't ordinary beans. Oh no, they shimmered and glowed with all the colors of the rainbow. The man said, "These are magic beans. They are worth more than all the money in the world. I will trade you these 5 magic beans for your cow." Jack looked at the beans. Wow, they were so beautiful. He thought about it. Magic beans, that sounded exciting. So Jack made a choice. He traded Daisy the cow for the 5 magic beans. The man smiled, took Daisy's rope, and disappeared down the road. Jack ran all the way home feeling so excited. He couldn't wait to show his mother the amazing, magical beans. He imagined all the wonderful things they could do. Maybe they would grow a tree made of candy. He burst through the door of their cottage, his face bright with a smile, holding the beans out for his mother to see. "Look, mother, look what I got, they're magic!" he shouted. But Jack's mother did not look happy, not at all. When she saw the beans, her face turned pale, and then it turned red with anger. "You silly boy!" she cried. "You traded our only cow for a handful of useless beans?" She was so disappointed and so upset, she didn't believe they were magic. She grabbed the beans from Jack's hand and in her anger she threw them right out the window into the garden. Jack felt his happy feeling disappear, replaced by a big wave of sadness. He went to his bed without any supper, feeling like he had made a huge mistake. The next morning when Jack woke up, something was very different. The room was dark and filled with strange green shadows. He looked out his window and wow! What did he see? Right where his mother had thrown the beans, a giant beanstalk had grown. It wasn't just a little plant, it was huge. It was as thick as a tree trunk, and it went up, 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 past the cottage, past the hills, and all the way into the clouds. It was the biggest plant Jack had ever seen in his entire life. He couldn't even see the top. It was truly magical. Jack forgot all about being hungry. He forgot all about being sad. He was filled with a new feeling. Curiosity. What was at the top of that beanstalk? He just had to know. Without even stopping for breakfast, he ran outside. He grabbed onto the thick leafy vine and started to climb. He climbed and climbed, higher and higher. The world below him got smaller and smaller. His little cottage looked like a tiny toy. He was a little scared, but he was more excited. He felt like a brave adventurer on a great quest. What do you think he thought he would find? After a very long time, Jack climbed right through the clouds. And when he got to the top, he saw something amazing. He was in a whole new land. There was a long, wide road leading to a giant castle. The castle was bigger than any building he had ever imagined. The door was so tall. Jack felt very, very small in this new place. Everything was giant-sized. He tiptoed down the road and peeked inside the huge castle door, which was just a little bit open. His heart was beating fast like a little drum. Thump, thump, thump. Inside, he saw a huge room with a giant table and a giant chair, and sitting at the table was a giant. The giant was huge and loud. "Fee-fi-fo-fum! I smell the blood of an Englishman!" the giant boomed. Jack was so scared. He quickly hid behind a big loaf of bread on the table. From his hiding spot he saw the giant's treasures. There was a little hen that sat on the table. The giant yelled, "Lay!" and the hen laid a perfect shiny golden egg. Wow! A goose that lays golden eggs! Jack knew that with just one of those eggs he and his mother would never be hungry again. Jack watched as the giant ate his giant meal and then started to get very sleepy. The giant's head began to nod, and soon the whole castle was filled with the sound of his loud, rumbling snores. Snore! Snore! It sounded like thunder. This was his chance. Jack knew he had to be very brave. He held his breath and tiptoed very, very quietly across the enormous wooden table. His feet made no sound at all. He crept closer and closer to the amazing little hen that laid the golden eggs. He had to be so careful not to wake the sleeping giant. Very gently, Jack scooped up the little hen in his arms. The hen was warm and soft. It just looked at him with its little eyes and didn't make a sound. It was as if the hen knew Jack was there to rescue it. With the hen tucked safely under his arm, Jack scurried as fast as his little legs could carry him. He ran out of the giant castle, down the long road and back to the top of the beanstalk. He could still hear the giant snoring behind him. He didn't waste a second. He started climbing down, down, down as fast as he could. When he was almost at the bottom, he heard a terrible roar from above. Fee-fi-fo-fum! The giant was awake, and he was coming down the beanstalk after him. The whole beanstalk shook and swayed. Jack scrambled the rest of the way down and yelled, "Mother, quick, bring the axe!" His mother, who had been watching worriedly from the garden, ran and got the axe. As soon as Jack's feet touched the ground, he took the axe and started to chop at the beanstalk. Chop, chop, chop! He chopped with all his might. With one final chop, the giant beanstalk cracked and then it came crashing down. The giant fell with it and was never seen again. Phew, that was close. Jack and his mother were safe. And Jack was holding the wonderful hen. He set her down, and she promptly laid a shiny golden egg right there in their garden. Jack and his mother hugged each other, so happy and so relieved. From that day on, they were never poor or hungry again. They had everything they needed, and most importantly, they had each other. And they all lived happily ever after.